KKCI, Goodland, Burlington, Colby, and online at nwksradio.net.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. It's government shutdown day 34, tied for the longest closure ever, having an impact on some Americans, including air travelers facing flight delays and cancellations. Food aid for tens of millions is also at risk. President Trump is threatening Nigeria with military action and an aid cutoff over the persecution of Christians. A 32-year-old man faces attempted murder and other charges following a stabbing attack on a train. It wounded 11 people in England. The suspect also allegedly assaulted people at a London mass transit station before the stabbing attack on the train. 2 people have been killed in Russia's latest attack on Ukraine, an attack targeting the country's power infrastructure. On Wall Street, the Dow futures are down 3 points. NASDAQ futures up 164. More details, srnnews.com.
So right now may be the perfect time for you to rethink how you pay for health care. And here's why. This time of year is decision time for a lot of people, but it's also when you can join MediShare and save even more than usual. For many families, joining MediShare means saving about $500 a month, which is a game changer for a lot of people. But what's more, MediShare members like it. We know this from member surveys. They like it a lot. It's a proven thing now. MediShare's been around for over 30 years. It's a Christian community of hundreds of thousands of people now. And here's the thing, too. If you join before November 15th and you mention the promo code SHARE, they will waive your application fee. So you save $100 right off the bat. I'll give you the number here in a second, but just call and you'll get a price within 2 minutes. Again, the deadline is November 15th. So call now. You'll save even more. Here's the number. Call 844-45-BIBLE. That's 844-45-BIBLE. 844-45-BIBLE.
With NWKS Radio, I'm Connor Schuh. 2 federal judges ruled nearly simultaneously on Friday that President Donald Trump's administration must continue to fund SNAP, the nation's biggest food aid program, using contingency funds during the government shutdown. This will keep food aid going for nearly 190,000 Kansans that were set to lose them November 1st. The rulings came a day before the U.S. Department of Agriculture planned to freeze payments to the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program because it said it could no longer keep the funding due to the shutdown. These rulings came not long after Kansas Governor Laura Kelly had joined a lawsuit by other Democratic governors and state attorney generals against the U.S. Department of Agriculture for refusing to fund SNAP during the shutdown. For these and other stories, go to nwksradio.net.
Today will be cooler with closer to normal highs around 60. Breezy north winds this morning turn to the west-northwest this afternoon at 15 to 25 miles per hour. Skies will be partly cloudy, then clear overnight. The air mass is not overly cold, so lows will be mild in the upper 30s. Some patchy fog may start off tomorrow morning. Otherwise, sunshine and west down-sloping winds around 10 miles per hour. Warm highs to near record readings in the upper 70s to around 80. Tuesday night, we'll see another cool front, but again, lows will be mild in the upper 30s. Wednesday through Friday will be cooler, but still above normal, with highs fluctuating from the low 60s on Wednesday to the low 70s Thursday and back down to the middle 60s on Friday. Winds will be a bit breezy at 15 to 25 miles per hour, first in the southeast and then turning to the northwest. Lows will be in the mid-30s. Saturday through Monday, colder in the upper 40s and 50s. This meteorologist Chris Schromick, the NWKS Radio Weather Center.
Are pests making your home or business uncomfortable? Call Pestaway in Goodland, Kansas, serving all of Northwest Kansas. They provide top-notch pest control services to keep your space safe and pest-free. From ants to rodents, termites to spiders, our expert team is here to help with effective, safe, and affordable pest control solutions. Don't wait. Call Pestaway today at 785-728-7166 for fast, reliable service. Your home or business deserves the best protection.
It's Truck Month at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland. Get behind the wheel of a brand new 2026 Chevrolet Silverado 1500 with 2.9% APR for 72 months. And if GMC's more your style, you're in luck. Drive home a 25 GMC Sierra Elevation with up to $7,000 in customer cash, or lock in 0.9% APR on a 26 GMC Sierra 1500. Whether it's power, performance, or pure style, Earl Chevrolet GMC has the truck to match your drive. Visit earlchev.com or stop by today in Goodland and make this truck month one to remember.
This fall, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware has everything you could need. Keep your lawn strong with Ultimate Winterizer, the best defense before the frost. Warm up your evenings and create memories with a new fire pit. Or bring home the flavor with a great selection of grills and smokers from brands like Traeger, Blackstone, Green Egg, and more. And right now, the lumber prices are low, and so are the temperatures, making it the best season to tackle those outdoor projects. It's Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware with locations in Goodland and Colby. Open every day but Sunday.
Convenience just got an upgrade. Farmers State Bank of Oakley is excited to announce the opening of our brand new ATM along Highway 40, right next to Sonic Drive-In. Whether you're grabbing a snack or on the go, you can quickly access your cash without the detour. It's banking made easy, right where you need it. Farmers State Bank of Oakley, member FDIC.
Mike and the team at Cowboy Corner Express want to wish you happy holidays and invite you to stop by throughout the season for hot or cold drinks, fresh baked goods, pizza, and so much more. Drop by and see what they have this holiday season at Cowboy Corner Express in Goodland.
Looking for insurance that actually puts you first? At the insurance agency in downtown Goodland, we're independent, which means we work for you. Whether it's auto, home, crop, or business, we shop top carriers to get you the best coverage at the best price. No pushy sales. Just honest advice from people who live right here in your community. Give us a call today at 785-899-5011 or stop by 1020 Main in Goodland and let's get you covered. The Insurance Agency. Insurance the way it should be.
This is Danny Zweigert with the Schooler Company. The holiday season is upon us and we want to wish you all the happiest of holidays. Have grain that needs moved or need help creating a marketing plan? Give us a call today at 785-890-3639. Happy holidays from Schooler.
You ready? Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4!
It's time for the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer.
The amount of money getting thrown around to quarterbacks who haven't done diddly squat is amazing to me.
And Connor Schuh.
He's the new guy.
The High Plains only local sports talk show. Broadcasting live on Goodland's Rocket 102.5 and video streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Who's got it better than us? Nobody!
Covering it all from the preps.
He's at the 10, the 5, he dives for the end zone. He's in! Touchdown, Cowboys!
To the pros.
Line drive, left field, base hit. Here comes McMahon. He'll score. Ball game.
The Blitz is presented by Earl Chevrolet GMC, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware, and F&B Bank. Along with
Equity Bank of Hoxie, Quinter, and Grinnell, the Insurance Agency, Pest Away LLC, Topside Portables and Pupping, and the Farmer State Bank in Oakley.
Let's go to work. The Chiefs will have Rashee Rice in the Wildcat. He's going to run the Wildcat power near side, and he will trot into the end zone. Touchdown, Kansas City! The Buffalo Bills go for it on 4th down near midfield and pay the price for not making it.
Handoff, Leashon to the 5 and the 2. Does he stretch it to the 1? The push. We wait on a signal. Touchdown, Kansas. Leashon Williams finds pay dirt, and the homecoming party is underway.
Shotgun snap, bounces around. Protection's great. Throws the ball. He's got a wide open receiver. Harvey at the goal line. Touchdown, Denver.
They fake it to him, and here's Avery. 40, 35, 30. He can fly. He's at the 10, 5. Touchdown, Kansas State.
Sounds of the weekend. Good Monday morning, everybody. Welcome inside the Morning Blitz. As always, broadcasting Goodland's Rock at 1025, NWKSradio.net, and the Earl Chevrolet GMC video stream, no matter which way you are listening or watching. Appreciate you doing so. If you're tuning in on the podcast or rewatching it on YouTube, we thank you so much for being a part of the program today. Oh, man. Connor Schuh, how was the weekend, my friend? Successful?
I would say so. Took in some Colby Community College basketball, men's and women's. Both very.
So you went on Saturday to watch them beat up on Sterling JV?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's JV, so, you expect them to beat up on them, but you'll take a win however you can. And I will, before we go any further, college basketball is underway right now. Winthrop and Queens. You can watch it on YouTube. I was watching it with breakfast this morning.
Is this the first? Is this like a deal where they have like the 24 consecutive hours of basketball? Do you remember when they used to do that? It was a pretty big
Yeah.
deal.
Unfortunately, it's not as in-depth as that, but Field of 68, it's like Jeff Goodman and those guys did a whole deal where they have almost their own broadcast of all these games throughout the day to kind of bridge the gap to the games that are actually on like real TV.
Interesting. Yeah, I was gonna say I remember ESPN used to do, and it wasn't on opening day, I don't think, or opening. I thought it was maybe the second day or something, but
it was one of the first.
It was one of the first few days, and they would be 24 hours consecutively of basketball. The basketball season is just so long. I mean, if you think about it, it starts here and it doesn't end until April. It's such a long, long season. It's a lot like baseball. So it's a long season. There's a lot of games in there, and so it's like here we go. A lot of games. What are your thoughts on the Trojans this weekend?
I mean, they looked pretty good. People were telling me the men's team was small, but honestly, I didn't think so. They have a couple of bigger guys, I mean, that were actually pretty skilled. God, the guy's name is escaping me, but he wore 23, kind of a taller guy. He had a lot of skill for a guy who's probably around 6'10", if I had to guess, and they shot the ball well, I thought, and at times they were a little bit sloppy, both men's and women's, but it's the first game of this season, so that's bound to happen.
No, absolutely. That is for sure. Well, I'm glad you got out of the house today. Glad there wasn't an imprint of you, in your recliners.
There was after.
So there was. So, well, I'm glad you didn't sit there the whole weekend, so didn't end up getting some bed sores or something like that.
Right.
Sitting in your recliner all day. So, anyway, glad you decided to join us here on this Monday, November the 3rd. That's right. With the basketball season being here, we have turned the calendar over to November. And like Connor said, Colby Community College men and women off to a combined 3-0 start. The women played again on Sunday against McPherson Junior Varsity, won convincingly 91-43. And real quickly, Fort Hays Tech Northwest men and women began their season this weekend. Much more stiffer test down at New Mexico Junior College Classic. The women lost their first game of the Coach Jordan Klein era, 91-61 to Odessa JC. And then the men picking up their first win of the Classic yesterday. They beat Dallas College Brookhaven, 71-61, a 10-point win there. Today, both the Fort Hays Tech men and women will face New Mexico Junior College. Those will be a couple of very stiff tests for the Tech Tigers today, because that's one of the better programs in junior college basketball, usually resides there at NMJC. Well, we got a full show ahead for you today. As always, if you'd like to be part of the Morning Blitz, would love to hear from you on the F&B Bank text line at 785-899-2222. Would love to hear your thoughts and opinions. Let's see. I'll tell you what, the text line already hopping this morning. Jared wants to know how many eggs, Connor. It's becoming a morning tradition.
Exactly 6 this morning.
A half dozen carton of eggs right there for you. For
what it is.
We've got winners from Michael. We'll get to weekend winners and losers coming up here in a little bit. He says that Denver defense and God bless Bo Nix for Michael. Michael, thank you, Michael. And Drew, agreeing with you, said 23 looked pretty good. Exciting to see him in the conference games.
Amen to that.
So Drew agrees with you. Whoever number 23 is.
Giannis Asimakopoulos. Oh, God.
Yeah, good luck. Good
Jeez.
luck. There are some tough names out there.
Yeah.
Tough.
Shout out to Giannis.
Yeah. So anyway, we got all that coming up on today's program. And of course, Nick Athens going to join the show as well. And we'll have leftovers to get to in the final segment. So plenty to get to on a Monday show. So let's dive in with our weekend winners as well as losers.
There are two kinds of people in this world.
There's winners and there's losers.
Which ones were which this past weekend?
I want winners.
Loser! You're a loser!
It's the weekend's winners and losers on the Morning Blitz.
Want to be a winner, be a winner.
All right, into weekend winners. Where are we starting off with today?
I think I thought about picking specific teams, but I think just the overall NFL slate is a winner. I mean, there were so many great close games that we got to see this week, from the Panthers upsetting the Packers to that insane Bears-Bengals game to the Broncos-Texans game. I mean, Vikings, Detroit, we got plenty of good football, even a game that went to overtime, Jacksonville and Las Vegas, where the Raiders tried to go for 2 at the very, very end, couldn't make it. And even the Chiefs-Bills game, that was what it was cracked up to be. I mean, just a great weekend of football, especially this Sunday. It was a treat to sit down and watch most of those games because you could pick out plenty of winners from that slate, I think.
Yeah, there were some. I'll throw in a small winner piggybacking off of that. How about Jags kicker Cam Little with an NFL record 68-yard field goal? That was just absolutely nuts. Here's what it sounded like on the television broadcast.
68 yards away. It's up there. It's out there. And it's good. It's good from 68.
68 yards. Beat the previous record, I think, of 66.
Yeah, they drug tested him right after the game.
My question would be, what do you think is the longest field goal we're going to see in our lifetime?
We'll get over 70 for sure.
I'm curious if we're going to get to 75.
I bet it's possible in the exact right conditions, maybe like Cam Little or
so they
Brandon
kick off
Aubrey.
from the 40, I think, right? The 40 is where they kick off from.
Yeah.
And sometimes you see guys get a hold of it and put it through the uprights.
But they have
kickoff.
way more momentum.
Oh, I know, but I'm just saying at least it's there. So
the strength is there.
It's pretty crazy to see that. Yeah, no doubt. A great weekend of NFL football for sure. The Broncos pulled out another tight one. We heard Michael, of course, say God bless Bo Nix and the Broncos defense. If I'm a Broncos fan, you've got to be excited. You're 7-2. You're atop of your division. You're one of the best teams in the AFC record-wise. But aren't you just sitting there thinking, why in the world can we not play good football for 3 quarters and only in the fourth? Why does it always take the fourth quarter for us to wake up? Because let's face it, that game was really, really close throughout. And then here comes the fourth quarter, and they figure it out to get a winning field goal at the gun with, of course, oh gosh darn it, Will Lutz, excuse me. There we go.
Will Lutz, yeah. And I think you could spin it positively in the sense that, hey, they're able to just pull these games out of thin air. Just wait till they get a full 60 minutes of good football and how good they're going to be if they're able to do that, if they can string together a good defensive performance, a good Bo Nix day overall, and J.K. Dobbins running it well. I think they're hard to stop overall, and just the fact that they're winning these slugfest games where it's just like no one's really getting away from each other until, well, the fourth quarter. 11 points in the fourth quarter for Denver. Good sign for them.
Just nuts to see that how they have won so many games this year in the fourth quarter. Like just I don't want to say dilly-dallying around, but I'm going to use that, just kind of whatever around the first 3 quarters. And then, we figure it out. And here in the fourth, we get the win. The defense has been elite. There's no doubt about it. It has helped save them a lot. The offense somehow. So I just don't know why they can't find it in the first 3 quarters and only in the fourth, that Denver offense. But they get another win, 7-2. Doesn't matter how it looks. That's why they don't draw pictures on scorecards in golf. It doesn't matter.
Yes.
It doesn't matter how they draw pictures as long as you get the good one there. But and of course the Chiefs, they lost at the Bills. But I'm telling you what, I don't know who else was there, but when Matt Prater doinked that thing off the right upright, didn't anybody else think, here we go, a chance for some Mahomes magic?
I thought so. I mean, they had enough field to make it, but just couldn't get it done.
And Mahomes had his worst statistical game of his career, his worst completion percentage of his career, like 15 of 34. Didn't have a touchdown, had 1 interception. It was one of his worst performances of the season. Of his career for Patty Mahomes. But the Bills have owned the Chiefs in the regular season. If there's one thing that we have learned, they are owned in the regular season by the Bills, but it hasn't mattered when it comes to what matters most, the playoffs and the postseason.
Oh, yeah.
So Chiefs lose at the Bills, but the Broncos pull another tight one there at the end. What team are you taking now between the Chiefs and the Broncos?
I almost
Chiefs
have
are
to
5-4, by the way. Broncos are 7-2.
I feel like
I on the spot.
Kind of have to pick the Broncos at this point. I mean, as a team, you might be inclined to think, the Chiefs are still the Chiefs, so they're just going to figure it out and they're going to take the division from the Broncos. But I don't know. I've seen a little bit too much from these Broncos so far to this point where I think I have to take them because I don't know, that defense, I think it's too good, and their offense is good enough to where they can just put enough points on the board to where they can just make up for whatever shortcomings they might have, and their defense just gets it done time and time again. And I think their offense hasn't really played up to its potential. Bo Nix hasn't really been consistently really good. I think he didn't have a great game yesterday until the fourth quarter. He had a completion percentage under 50%. I mean, he didn't throw the ball that well until it was later in that game. So I think when they're firing on all cylinders, they're better than the Chiefs right now.
I think I'm still going to go with the Chiefs despite the 5-4 record. I think I know what I can get out of them offensively, and I know what I have in them defensively. I know what the Broncos have defensively. I do not know what the Broncos are offensively. It is way too hit and miss with the Denver offense. So I think for right now, despite being and let's face the facts, I'm pretty sure the Chiefs have played a much harder schedule than Denver has at this point in time.
Fair to say.
Much more challenging. So I'm going to roll with the Chiefs, but congratulations to the Broncos. They're 7-2. But, man, I would be really concerned being a fan if I'm like, God, why can we not have any offense in the first three quarters? But, hey, as a bonus, we win. And that's all that matters.
Yes.
Once again, that's why they don't draw pictures on scorecards. Let's continue here on weekend winners and losers. What do y'all got for winners this weekend?
I mean, the Dodgers, obviously. I mean, they won the World Series this weekend, and they came back from down 3-2 and took 2 games in Toronto to win the World Series, including a classic Game 7. Took 11 innings. They took all their starters out of the bullpen. Yamamoto, Glasnow, Snell. And Snell tried to give it away, but they ended up making it happen, and Yamamoto pitched a gem of a couple of innings out of the pen to really secure that one. And obviously, I mean, it would have been cool to see the Blue Jays get their first one in over 30 years, but it's cool to have a villain like the Dodgers in baseball now.
Oh my gosh, they are such losers. There's no doubt about it. How it sounded on ESPN Radio with Boog Shambi as the Dodgers won the World Series.
And the 0-2. Swing and a broken bat roller out to short. Bats up with it. Steps on second. On to first. And it's a double play. And the Dodgers have won it.
How about that game, though? I mean, the Blue Jays had it. There was one out in the 9th. And Rojas goes up there in a pinch hit situation and pulls one down the left field line out of there to tie the game up. They go into extras. Will Smith with the home run to break the tie, and then Toronto can't get anything. I mean, you talk about just heartbreak for Toronto. You get that bounce back win after getting beaten in 2 baseball. I mean, think about it. They played 8 games of baseball in the World Series because they had an 18-inning game. You lose that 18-inning game. So it's like losing 2, but you bounce back, you win the next, which means you're going to go to Toronto to get to try and clinch this. You're in home in front of your home fans, and you still lose 2 straight to the Dodgers. I mean, the heartache for Canada is huge. The heartache for Canada is huge. I feel bad for them. I mean, the Blue Jays were in my losers of the weekend because I don't know how. I mean, you have home field advantage. You can't find a way to win one of those games, but then you have to remember, the Dodgers are playing with other rules than everybody. Well, they're playing with the same rules. No one else takes advantage of the rules, but the Dodgers are playing with monopoly money out there. Well, every other team is not.
Yes.
So it's been ridiculous.
And
you're paying for championships, and guess what? You're getting them.
Yes. And it's funny that Miguel Rojas was the hero too, because he had, I think there was a stat, he had 1 hit in the past month going into that at bat. And of course, he's the guy who hits the homer, not Ohtani, not Will Smith, Freddie Freeman, any of those guys. It's Miguel Rojas. And that, I think that gives me a little bit more pause for this World Series. It's cool that a guy like him gets to do it because he's full circle. He started his career with the Dodgers and came back after making a handful of stops and got to do that. So shout out to him. But yeah, the Blue Jays probably should have pulled that one out.
All right, more winners of the weekend. I got to go local sports here. Shout out to Quinter High School Fall Sports, a winner of the weekend. So volleyball ended up placing at state. They finished in 4th. They got out of their pool, one of the 2 teams out of their pool, and advanced to the state Final Four, if you want to call it that. Ended up losing their next 2 matches to the eventual state champions in Little River, as well as Montezuma South Gray in straight sets. But nonetheless, finishing in 4th. This previous showing at the state tournament. Excuse me, but And the boys cross country team, probably the biggest winner of the weekend. They capture another state championship in boys cross country. That was their 4th consecutive state title. There are kids on that team, Elliot Churchwell, Carter Selensky, young men that have won 4 state championships in cross country, 4 state titles. What a showing from Quinter cross country with 4 consecutive state championships captured there on Saturday. And overall, solid weekend when you look at cross country as a whole. But you had Quinter boys finishing in first, led by Elliot Churchwell's 6th place finish. Hoxie girls finished 3rd. Oakley girls came in 12th. Golden Plains girls finished 4th. St. Francis girls finished in 6th. St. Francis was led by Breck Lore, who finished in 30th. Golden Plains' Elizabeth Weiner finished in 4th. Hadley Yunkin and Mackenzie Hubert led Oakley with 46th and 47th place. Hoxie's Tegan and Briley Lindemann all finished in the top 15, earning medal with 11th and 12th place finishes. Hoxie Michael Hafner finished in 6th. Oakley's Aaron Samuelson and Jethro Chrysler finished 25th and 20th. The freshman actually getting the best of the senior at state. Golden Plains' Zeke Weimer finishing in 41st. Dylan Work placing in 15th for Golden Plains, a dual sport athlete, plays football as well as Dylan Work. Trevor Witt of Decatur Community coming in 23rd. Jalen Brandel finishing 9th, and Braley Moritz in 63rd place for Greeley County. And Goodland's Jason Gable, the only representative in 3A from our listening area, she finished in 38th in Lawrence at Rimrock. So overall, a pretty solid. Once again, you had 3 kids finishing inside the top 10 individually. You had 6 individuals placed this past Saturday, and you had 2 teams bring home trophies. Hoxie girls with the 3rd place finish in 2A. And then, of course, Quinter Bulldogs, state champions once again for the 4th consecutive time, thanks to 3 runners in the top 12. So you know a lot about cross country, so you know how impressive that all is. But a great showing from Quinter as they win that. And then, of course, volleyball to finish in the spot they did. So a great showing for their fall sports. And then another shout out to Oakley Volleyball. They had their season come to an end in the 2A tournament on Friday. The Lady Plainsmen were in pool play. They won 2 matches, but they didn't win them in enough convincing fashion, I guess, because they lost the tiebreaker to advance to the Final Four. So, Coach Lindsay Hodges told us earlier in the season, she said, the goal was to get back, not only to get back to state, but to win a match in state. Well, they won 2. The problem is usually when you win 2, you get into the Final Four. It just wasn't enough the way it broke down. And so they ended up missing out on the Final Four, and their season ended in pool play for the Oakley Lady Plainsmen. But big winners of the weekend there in cross country and state volleyball. And a shout out as well to Decatur Community Football. I know they played on Thursday night, and we talked about their win on Friday, or mentioned their win, but I saw a stat that blew my mind. That win for them was their first playoff victory for Decatur Community Football since 1977.
Wow.
That's almost 50 years, people. 48 years it has been since Decatur Community Football in Oberlin has won a playoff football game, and with their win over Ellis, they got it done. That is unbelievable if you think about it. Absolutely nuts. Absolutely nuts. So congratulations to them. Other thoughts quickly on football. Goodland lost in the non-playoff game at Clearwater, 48-0. Cowboys in their season at 2-7. And Colby hung tough but ultimately lost 53-20, ending their season at Holcomb with a 3-6 record. Any quick thoughts on Colby football from that game? It was tight after the first quarter. I'm not gonna lie, I was shocked it was 6-6 after the first 12.
It was a good game in that first half, especially, and Holcomb kind of started to pull away in that second quarter, but Colby answered with 6 seconds left. Touchdown throw from Neil Morrison to Nathan Cates, because Smiley was out for that game, so missing your starting quarterback. But Morrison, he played well, but there were some real struggles with turnovers, and Holcomb's talent kind of just took over in the second half, and they ripped off 4 straight scores to pretty much seal it. But it was a good first half.
Okay, we got to get to losers real quickly. What do we have for losers?
Well, we already talked about it, but I have the Chiefs, so we'll talk about something else. The Bengals. The Bengals were down to the Bears pretty big in that fourth quarter, but they ripped off 15 points in a minute to take the lead super late, but their defense just collapsed entirely, and Caleb Williams and company for the Bears drove all the way down the field and scored a 58-yard touchdown to pretty much seal it against them in what initially looked like a huge comeback victory for the Bengals, which they needed so desperately to really stick around in playoff position, or even, well, not playoff position, but in the race almost in the AFC. And then they couldn't get it done on the return drive and lost to that one.
I don't know. The Bengals, they've got defensive problems. They had them all last year. They have them again this year. It's very poor. Or porous, one of the two. They got a lot of problems they got to get solved on the defensive side. But this is what happens. This is what happens when you have a salary cap. You can decide that you want to spend all your money on your quarterback and your 2 wide receivers, but have really no money for anybody else on the defensive side of the ball. This is what happens. Now, when you play with funny money like the Dodgers, you can buy all these things and just be taken care of. There's no cap. Although a texter does chime in and say, it's not like the Blue Jays are playing, or the Dodgers. He said, quote, "It's not like the Dodgers are playing Hickory High. The Blue Jays spend money." Yes, they do spend money, but I bet money they don't spend the same kind of money that the Dodgers do.
The payrolls are a little different.
It's different payrolls. Guarantee it. My losers of the weekend, I got a couple quick college football ones before we get to break. I got to throw Nebraska football under the bus because now let's count it, folks. 29 straight losses to a top 25 football team. It has not been since 2016 that the Huskers have beaten a top 25 squad. They lose to USC in a game that played out almost exactly like I thought it would, a 21-17 loss to USC. I will admit the blackout was awesome. You talk about going full sail on the blackout on Saturday night. It was sweet. Everybody in the crowd wore black. The uniforms were black. Even the field was painted in black. It was sweet. But it wasn't enough. Could not beat USC. Couldn't slow down the run game. And on top of it, Dylan Raiola lost for the season. Broke his, on a hip tackle, as they kind of call it, broke his fibula, I think is what it was, and done for the year. And so, hello, TJ Lateef. You're the starter of the rest of the season. What looked to be a great 6-2 start is now looking like it could be possibly a 6-6 finish to the season. We'll see. Long way to go, but not looking great for Nebraska football. Lose their starting quarterback, and now 29 straight losses to top 25 teams, and also now 4-20 in the month of November. In the last 24 games in November. It's not good. November has not been kind to Nebraska football. And also loser of the weekend, Hugh Freeze. Fired at Auburn this weekend. Went 6-16 in the SEC, which is not good, but didn't even have 3 seasons on the Plains. 2.5 years there at Auburn, but didn't get it done and is gone. Another big-time job opening is open in college football, although I don't know how big of an opening Auburn is anymore, in my personal opinion.
It's the brand, I think, still gives it some, I don't know, some substance.
I have a question for us to debate later this week about what is the right thing to do. Is it to just say, well, we know it's not working, or we feel like it's not working, let's just cut ties and move on? Or do we push through and see if a guy can actually build? We're going to discuss that later on in the week. I think it's an interesting topic. Any quick losers for you?
My other one was Miami football, another unranked conference loss. They're slowly tumbling way out of the playoff picture. Now, I think Virginia is looking like the favorite in the ACC because Georgia Tech lost too. So things just aren't looking too hot for them in Miami. I remember a few weeks ago when they were the number 2 team in the nation. Feels like forever ago.
It was not a good weekend for them, but SMU is, don't forget, they were in the playoff last year. I know that they're not ranked, but they were in the playoff last year, and they also spend some money down there.
Different team this year, though. That's for sure.
No doubt. And not a great loss there for Miami as well. But yeah, it's wonder if Mario Cristobal get fired. Why not? Everyone gets fired. Might as well just fire him too. There you go. Weekend winners and losers here on a Monday edition of the Morning Blitz. Real quickly on the EpiBank text line, I want to get to Brian. His winner of the weekend, Kyle Larson, winning the NASCAR Cup Series Championship. First ever driver to start the Indy 500 as a rookie and win a NASCAR Cup Championship. Congratulations to him. And let's see. Jared has been chiming on and on. Goes, you better toss my Colorado Buffaloes on the losers of the week. Yes, they were horrific again. Absolutely pounded by Arizona. Everybody saw that coming. Oh, I think Dion needs to go. Oh, Jared. Dion needs to go.
We're getting to that point.
I tell you what, who saw this coming? Yours truly. I saw this coming, even through the high points. All right, that'll do it for our first segment. We'll take a break. Nick Athen's been waiting very patiently. We'll bring him on the show next, get his thoughts on anything happening in sports, including, of course, NFL football next here on the Morning Blitz.
If you're shopping for a banking institution, visit with Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, and Quinter, Kansas. The Equity Bank is heavily invested in local business and activities contributing in many ways back to their community. Their employees are involved with many organizations and area events. Plus, a lot of experience comes with that staff. You'll find valuable local assistance when you bank at the Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, Quinter, and other locations in Western Kansas. The Equity Bank, member FDIC.
At Harvest, every acre tells the truth. And if you waited to see this season, you might be watching your yields slip away. Next year, don't wait and see. Know with TrivaPro. As the hardest working, longest lasting corn fungicide, TrivaPro works overtime to beat back disease, boost plant health, and preserve yield. For more bushels in the bin when it matters most. In 2026, don't wait to know. Go TrivaPro. Call your retailer today. Always read and follow label instructions.
It's time for a check of the markets with the Anderson Trade Group on the Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio Network.
This is Austin Wright with the Anderson's Trade Group in your morning market update. It is November 3rd. December corn, 432.5. March 26 corn, 445. May 26 corn, 453 3/4. December KC wheat, 528 3/4. March 26 KC wheat, 541. May 26 KC wheat, 551.5. January 26 soybeans, 1119.5. March 26 soybeans, 1126. May 26 soybeans, 1135. Dow Jones futures are currently down 25 points at 47,697. S&P 500 futures are currently up 22 points at 6,896. NASDAQ futures are currently up 184 points at 26,188. Gold is currently up $30 at $4,027.40. Crude is currently down 11 cents at $60.86. For your grain marketing needs or more information on our freedom pricing tools, you can reach the Kansas City office, Jared Law, Tyler Ghosh, Tom Saludo at 913-748-3000. In Colorado, John Hankey and John Stiles, 970-744-4484.
The Anderson Trade Group, proud market partners with Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio. Find out more at andersongrain.com. The risk of loss through trading futures and or options is substantial, and each investor and or trader must consider whether this is a suitable investment. Past performance, whether actual or indicated, is not indicative of future results. The Anderson Trade Group has no guarantee that the advice given will result in profitable trades.
Hey, Max, you look sharp in that purple tie. Ready to harness the world as a guide dog?
You bet, Daisy. And your purple service dog vest really pops against your shiny fur.
First day on the job for both of us. We've got this, right?
You bet. Dogs Inc. trained us well.
Ready to make a difference for our humans?
Born ready.
Discover how extraordinary...
We're talking today with Lauren Hansen, Territory Manager. About what choices offer apart from other company savings programs.
Unlike any other savings program, True Choice offers the benefits to the grower at the beginning when their purchase is made. So the grower writes the check to their retailer for their Corteva crop protection products, and their savings comes off upfront. They are not waiting until the end of the year for those rebates.
Can growers sign up for the True Choice offer?
Our system launched on October 1st. So from now until February 27th of 2026, growers can fund their True Choice accounts.
And Lauren, where could growers go to get more information about True Choice?
There's 3 different ways a grower can fund their True Choice account. The first one would be through their Pioneer sales rep. Next, it would be through any retailer who sells Corteva crop protection products. And then lastly, they can visit corteva.us/True Choice, and they can fund the account on their own.
35 pounds of nitrogen and phosphorus, $50 an acre. Source and blueprint by Sound Agriculture. Half the cost, same yield potential. Growers are saving $25,000 on every 1,000 acres of corn. With Sound's ROI guarantee, you can't lose. In today's markets, every input dollar matters. Don't just spend more, make your seed, chemical, and fertilizer dollars go further. Smoky Valley Ag delivers seed, chemical, agronomy, and same-day or next-day delivery. Call 785-645-8010. Smoky Valley Ag, your reliable source for growth.
Whether it's touchdowns, home runs, or buzzer beaters, we've got you covered. It's the Morning Blitz.
20 minutes to the top of the hour on a Monday, November the 3rd. 33 degrees outside. Going to be the coolest day of the week, it looks like. High of 58 here on a Monday. Let's welcome into the program our good friend from Chiefs Blitz. There he is, Nick Athen. Man, wearing your Bills colors today. Oh, sorry, Jayhawks. I was going to say, look like Bills colors there, Nick.
Cold. Cold as the weather outside.
Oh man! Well, homecoming victory for you. It looked a little dicey there for a little bit for the Jayhawks, but they get it done.
They're one game from bowl eligibility, and I guess if that's the ceiling, that's the ceiling. So we'll see. I got a feeling that's the Lance Leopold ceiling is a 6-6, 7-5 team that's going to get a bowl game in mid-December. So
let me ask you this: I know you're not thrilled with Lance at this
Correct.
point in time. But as a KU fan, are you sitting there thinking they should do like what a lot of college teams have done and move on with a guy that has done some good things, but not a lot of great things, and try to go find the next thing? Or do you stay with this guy and see if they can build? Because I feel like we're getting a little hasty in some areas of college coaching.
I think the proof's going to be in the pudding next year when he doesn't have Daniels as his quarterback. He's got a dilemma at quarterback. He's got two young quarterbacks. We kind of saw some flashes, late in the game of what the future of KU football could be offensively. But my thought is, and it goes back to what the conversation should be about when it comes to Lance Leopold. Is he a championship builder or is he a program builder? And there's no question he's a program builder. And at the JUCO level, he's been a championship level coach. I think Kansas has given him a new stadium, 3 contracts. He's got a $24 million buyout should he go anywhere. He has got some of the best facilities in the Big 12. They've given him a boatload of cash, in the NIL quote unquote paying athletes program. And, there's no more excuses. He's struggled to keep, the offensive defensive coordinator have their flaws. He probably needs to make some changes, but what he does without Daniels is going to determine, in my opinion. I think you move on, you find a young coach, you hope you can keep him. But I think for Kansas to be successful, they're going to be in this every 3 or 4 years, and they have a good coach. They're going to have to replenish it and find another coach. They're not going to find another Bill Self. And that's the problem that they face. And I'll throw one more kicker in. If the rumors are true that the Big Ten really wants to add Kansas, which I believe that they are, the football program has to beef up. It has to be a team that can win 7, 8, 9 games to be competitive in that market. And they're going to have to do another round of stadium improvements as well to appease the Big Ten. But I think Kansas gets swallowed up by either the SEC or the Big Ten. I think that's what they want, actually. So Leopold has got to either get that program to that level, or they're going to have to try something different.
Connor, you're on mute, by the way, before you start talking.
Oh, thanks. I never even thought about Kansas going to another conference, but what would you think of that if they went to the Big Ten?
I'm all for it. They've been rumored to go to the Big Ten for years. I talked to I won't say which coach, but I've talked to a coach at Kansas who said when the invite comes, they're going. So that's just, hearsay at this point. We know there's going to be another round of expansion in college football. The networks are going to demand it. The goal is to have 4 super conferences of 20 to 24 members who are going to rule college football. What this does for college basketball remains to be seen. But I think for Kansas, I think their loyalties to the Big 12 are obvious. Brett Yormark is going to promise everything under the sun to keep Kansas in the Big 12. But the Big $10 are just too much to ignore for a school like Kansas when they have one of the greatest, if not the greatest, basketball tradition of all time. They've got a football facility and a program that's definitely better than it was. Is it better than the bottom barrel of the Big Ten? Probably. But you have to be competitive. And if you're going to have teams like Michigan and Ohio State, coming into your house to play in that stadium, you better be pretty good that you're not going to be blown out 54-0 like Nebraska used to do to Kansas.
Oh, here we go.
There it is. So, yeah, I'm all for it. I mean, I think the SEC will have a say too. I think the ACC will probably get I think the ACC will fix itself. So there's a possibility Kansas goes there, but I'm 100% convinced, and I will put this on record that the Big Ten has interest in the University of Kansas at some point. Yes.
It makes so much more sense in the Big Ten than the ACC
Oh,
or the
yeah,
SEC.
for sure. Absolutely. I mean, look at the TV contracts they have, the exposure Kansas will get. They're bringing in the Kansas City market, which is a big market. And I don't think people realize how popular college basketball is in particular. The ratings, in Kansas City for that, a lot to do with, the fact that Kansas, Missouri, and Kansas State all play in close proximity. But it's a good market to have in the Midwest.
Nick Athen is our guest here, a good friend from ChiefsBlitz.com. I'll start with this question here, and I know where you're going to go with this answer.
Fire away.
But I asked the question to Connor. I said, when you look at, the Denver Broncos are 7-2, but they only seem to show up offensively in the fourth quarter, and the Chiefs are 5-4. And right now, once again, this is always a silly statement, but if the playoffs started today, the Chiefs would be out of the playoffs. They would not make it. But sitting here at the midpoint of the season, what team are you taking going forward to have a better finish to the season?
I think the Patriots are probably the only team that I can think of.
That wasn't an answer. It was either the Chiefs or the Broncos.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I mean, the Broncos are the best flawed team in the AFC. No question about it. They have, I still say, the best defense, even without Surtain. They show up in the fourth quarter, and we can sit here and say, well, that's kind of a fluke, but it keeps happening over and over and over again. Now, eventually, that luck pours out. The luck runs out. And let's be honest, the teams they faced have sucked. They haven't been very good outside of the Eagles, and their schedule is not that difficult. But they now know, because of where they stand and where the Chiefs stand, they just have to split the two games. The Chiefs have to win them both, or else the Broncos are probably going to win the division. And I don't have any question that the better overall team is the Chiefs, but the Broncos are the best team in the division. They're playing with the most amount of, how do I put this? They're creating a lot of luck, and they're playing the perfect opponents who are playing really crappy quarterbacks. And they're taking advantage of that. And I know Sean Payton is probably saying we're really lucky, and I think he knows it, because you can't keep just trying to score all your points in the fourth quarter and expect to win. Eventually that gold mine will cash out, and they're not going to be able to do that. Now, in 2 weeks, they play the Chiefs. It's the biggest game that the Chiefs will play this year. It's a must-win for Kansas City. It's a statement game they have to make. And if they do not win that game, and they're 5-5, and we'll talk about this next week, then they had better made a couple of trades at the deadline, which is tomorrow, to improve their team, because they have to win that game in 2 weeks.
Speaking of that, what is the biggest need or should be done at the trade deadline for Kansas City?
Whatever it takes. You make a deal with the Jets for Breece Hall. You get the running back, former Iowa State, Wichita native. You bring him home. I don't care if he wants a 2 or 3 year extension. You give it to him. The Chiefs needed Jamal Charles running back. Andy Reid has got to stop the open door policy of the running back by committee. Isaiah Pacheco's not that guy. Kareem Hunt, to his credit, at his age, if he had the speed he had 4 years ago, he probably would have had 2 touchdowns last night. Brashard Smith's not ready. So you bring a Breece Hall into this offense, it takes pressure off the offensive line. It takes pressure off Patrick Mahomes. The theme for the Chiefs is when they don't run the ball, they lose. And that's when the pass protection breaks down. And that's what the Bills did. In the 4 losses, the offensive line has crumbled under the pressure of the constant attack, and the Chiefs haven't had a running game to offset that. They didn't even do this. They didn't even use their screen game. They didn't do reverses. It was a really crappy play calling day for Andy Reid, let's be honest. But they have to get Breece Hall, and whatever it takes at this point. I mean, look what the Eagles did this morning. They went out and got themselves a pass rusher. And that was a guy, Jalen was the guy the Chiefs were going after. They offered a 4th. The Eagles came in over the Chiefs and offered a 3rd. And Jalen Phillips is now a Philadelphia Eagle. And that's their 3rd trade in a week to bolster their shortcomings. And the only reason the Eagles do that is because the way they do their contracts. They do all these voidable years. The Chiefs don't do that. But if they want to be competitive, they're going to probably have to change how they do these contracts.
Nick Athen joins us here. When you look at the overall standings right now in both the AFC and the NFC, what is the biggest surprise at the midway point?
I think the Patriots are the biggest surprise. I thought Mike Vrabel would change the culture. I didn't think he'd do it this fast. This kind of reminds me of what Andy Reid did when he came over from Philadelphia in that first year. Drake May, I mean, you got to put him in the MVP status at this point. He's just playing great. He had his signature win going to Buffalo and beating the Bills, and they won that game because of him. And I think their defense is good. I think they're going to add a running back too before the trade deadline, which is going to help that offense quite a bit. But I mean, the Colts. I mean, we saw what the Colts were yesterday against Pittsburgh. The schedule's getting tougher. It's going to be really difficult for them to maintain that record. But I think the Patriots are the team that I would be most concerned about, but I'm also the most surprised that they have adapted this quickly. And I'm impressed with what they put together and the fact they've already got 10 draft picks for next year. That's a team on the rise. The Bills, this is their window. This is the year. They don't do it now. I think the Patriots are going to surpass them next year.
I think one of the things that stands out to me a little bit I don't know if I consider it odd. I'm not going to say it's a shocker, but that AFC North division is smelly record-wise. That's nuts. I mean, you think about, sorry, not to bash your Browns there, Connor.
We're not very good.
No, but the Bengals, the Ravens, and the Steelers with the best record being 5-3 in Pittsburgh, who has not really looked that great besides what they did yesterday against the Colts.
Right.
That division right there is nuts how bad it is.
Well, I mean, I think the Steelers made a statement. I mean, you're talking about the hottest team, and the team with the best record comes into your place, and you demoralize them. You kick them in the teeth, and you boot them out of the stadium with a loss. And I think that was a huge win for Pittsburgh, and I think that's going to give them a lot of confidence. I think the Steelers are clearly the best team. Now, I don't buy this Ravens just because they beat a hapless Miami Dolphins team that, they're back. I mean, people are talking about they're going to run the table. They're not going to run the table. Their schedule is easy in the short term, but very difficult in the end of the season. So I think it's the Steelers division to win or lose. There's only going to be one team that's coming out of there. But, I mean, you just look at this, you look at that division, and you just look what happened yesterday with the Bengals. I mean, come on. How does that happen? First of all, how did it happen? They scored 2 touchdowns in a short time frame. And then, the Bears make the play with arguably the best young tight end I've seen come out of college in a really long time.
Well, that was nuts. And for Joe Flacco at his age to throw for 4 seconds and still lose.
He's remarkable. Yeah, absolutely remarkable.
Can you imagine what he's probably saying to himself? Like, I've played on some good football teams. I've played Super Bowls. I've never had any wide receiver core like this.
No. I mean, he's just loving it. I mean, he's going to probably play another year after this. So, yeah.
Oh, absolutely nuts. Well, Nick, we're up against the clock here, unless Connor has something he wants to throw in. But otherwise, we got to get out of here. But we appreciate you joining us, as always, on Mondays, and we'll do it again next week.
All right, guys. You have a great week. Go Jayhawks.
See you, buddy.
Salvation.
There you go. There's Nick Athen, our good friend from ChiefsBlitz.com. Make sure you follow him at ChiefsBlitz.com. He got great content all throughout the week, especially if you're a Kansas City Chiefs fan. We'll take our break, come back with the end of the rest of the leftovers and a quick recap of the picks. I have a feeling it wasn't as good as a week for especially for yours truly. We'll get to that next in the Blitz.
Need a porta potty or septic pumping in Northwest Kansas? Call Topside Portables and Pumping, your local family-owned crew. They've got clean, reliable toilets for weddings, farms, and job sites, plus full septic services, RV waste, fertilizer tanks, and more. Available 24/7, because when nature calls, they answer. Call 785-728-8089. That's 728-8089. Topside Portables and Pumping. Reliable, local, clean.
From drive-through banking to mobile deposit, we make it easy to get things done on your schedule. Banking should fit your life, not the other way around. This is Jessica Von Lintel at F&B Bank. Banking made simple.
In a small town, your banker should know more than just your account number. They should know your name. At F&B Bank, we believe in real conversations, friendly faces, and decisions made right here at home. I'm Paige Sneathen, Vice President at FNB Bank, and we're proud to serve your family like our own. Member FDIC.
It's Truck Month at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland. Get behind the wheel of a brand new 2026 Chevrolet Silverado 1500 with 2.9% APR for 72 months. And if GMC's more your style, you're in luck. Drive home a 25 GMC Sierra Elevation with up to $7,000 in customer cash, or lock in 0.9% APR on a 26 GMC Sierra 1500. Whether it's power, performance, or pure style, Hurl Chevrolet GMC has the truck to match your drive. Visit hurlchev.com or stop by today in Goodland and make this Truck Month one to remember.
Sports talk that's fast, fresh, and always on point.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
This is the Morning Blitz.
Real quick before we get out of here, just an update on what happened the rest of the weekend in regional sports. Texas Tech forced 5 turnovers in a 43-23 win over Kansas State. Avery Johnson had 3 touchdowns but 2 picks and lost a fumble that was returned for a score. Wildcats 4-5. I know I got that one wrong.
We both did.
And I tell you what, it looked dicey for a little while, but Kansas did shake off a slow start. And they run away in the end 38-21 on homecoming day over Oklahoma State. Although Zane Flores did have the Pokes kind of hanging around there for a little bit. That is for sure. And then I think that's also in college football, Colorado blown out again. We mentioned Jared saying that 52-17 lost Arizona. Once again, they trailed humongously at halftime. 5 turnovers, 4 penalties. This is what I saw happening. I don't know about you, but when they hired Prime, even when he was going off in his first year, I was like, it's going to either take off and crash, or it's going to take off and he's going to take off and leave to go someplace else. Well, it's just the crash is what we've seen from Coach Prime here in year number 3. And of course, I mentioned Nebraska losing 21-17 to USC and losing Dylan Raiola for the rest of the season. Anything else we were missing in the leftovers?
Nothing but the picks.
Okay, what do you got? Update us on the picks. It was not a good weekend. I know that.
All right, K-State game, we both had the Cats covering. They did not, of course. We're 0 for 2 with
a loser sound effect. Where's that at? There we go.
Well, you're going to play it a lot this week. So,
all right, we'll do
Kansas beat Oklahoma State, but did not cover the spread. So we both got that wrong. We both we got the Colorado game right. You said Arizona would cover. They did easily. I just had Arizona winning. I don't know why I went so conservative with it.
Winning.
That happened. We both had USC covering against Nebraska. They didn't. They won by 4, not 5. So,
yeah, well, I'm still going to say I had USC winning, even though I know the spread was wrong. So I'm gosh. They went exactly I thought I did. Anyway, go ahead.
Now NFL, we both had the Broncos covering the spread against the Texans. They did. Chiefs, Bills. I had the Bills winning outright. They won. You had the Chiefs covering. They did not come close.
This stinks! This is totally yes!
Vikings, Lions. I had the Lions covering. You had the Lions winning. They did neither.
This whole place sucks.
Niners, Giants. You had the Niners covering. I had the Giants covering for some reason.
What were you thinking?
I was feeling the Jackson Dart magic. I know Scadboo is gone, but whatever. So I got that wrong. You got that right. And then World Series Game 6. You had the Dodgers covering. They covered the 1.5. I had the Jays covering. Nope. They did not. Wazoo at Oregon State. I had Wazoo covering, and you had Wazoo, also covering, and Oregon State won.
Way to go, Beavers.
I actually had them in my winners of the week just because they won their first FBS game of the year. But
way to go, Oregon State.
I was like, we'll keep that down. Penn State, Ohio State. I had Ohio State covering. They did. You had Penn State covering.
I felt so good about that because it was 17-14. I was like, look at this.
Penn State's awful. And they were playing their backup. Navy at North Texas. I had North Texas covering. They did. Felt pretty good about that one. You had Navy covering. They did not.
Dang it.
And then Vandy, Texas. I had Vandy covering. They barely did. They covered by 0.5 point.
There we go.
And you had Texas winning. They won by 3. South Carolina, Ole Miss. I had South Carolina covering. They did not. Ole Miss, you had them covering. Boom. Got it.
Thank you.
Final pick of the week. Cincy at Utah. That didn't turn out.
Did not go well.
Anywhere close to how we thought. I was very surprised with the final score.
What was the final score of that game?
45-14.
Whoa.
What the I couldn't fathom it. We both had Cincy covering. They didn't come close.
Wow.
That's insane.
Wow. So what were the records in the week?
6-9 for both of us. Of course, it turned out to be the same. So on the season, you're 28-29, and I'm 25-33.
Yeah, not a good week. I thought it was going to be a bad week, and it was a bad week.
Could have been worse.
So, all right, we'll pick ourselves off the mat and go at it again on Friday. We'll get her done. Bounce back week coming up. All right, on to the walk-off.
And back lifts his ball high and deep to right. How about a walk-off Brady? Thomas to the 10. Denver's going on to New England. They win it on the first play of overtime. Mahomes flings it. It's there. Hardman. Jackpot. Kansas City.
Did you see that ridiculous stat that there has been a Will Smith win a World Series ring in 6 consecutive World Series?
Yes, there has. The reliever and the catcher.
It's not the same Will Smith, but it is a Will Smith nonetheless, which I do find funny. A quick local shout out to Goodland's Barrett Schlosser. This week at the Fort Hays Tech Northwest Tiger shootout for shooting sports. First in sporting clay, second in doubles trap, third in skeet, second in trap, first in HOA. Pretty good showing there. Guy's got quite the target. It's been quite the dead eye Barrett. We'll call him that. Dead-eye Barrett Schlosser. Pretty good showing from him. And like you mentioned, college basketball going on now. Yes. College basketball continuing all throughout the day, including 3 regional teams. Kansas plays tonight at home against Dougie Gottlieb and his Green Bay squad.
They might win by 50.
It's a 30-point spread for KU.
Checks out.
Nebraska is at home versus West Georgia, and Colorado hosts Montana State. There's a couple of games throughout the
Big Sky.
Yeah. So anything else in the walk-off from you today?
Well, I mean, there's free basketball and all day. You can watch it on YouTube. So, yeah.
Can't get enough basketball. Today's the day. Tune in and watch it. So, all right, that'll do it for us. Thanks again to Nick Athen. Thanks to you, the listener. We'll be back again tomorrow in 23 hours. We'll do it again. It's been the Blitz. Have a good one.